underestimated you, Warden. I thought you were like Kalen, a child wanting to play at war. I was wrong. There's a strength in you that I have not seen anywhere since Marek died. I yield.
You will die for what you've done.
Wait, there is another option. The Terran is a warrior and general of renown. Let him be of use. Let him go through the joining.
You want to make him a warden? Why?
There are 3 of us in all of Ferelden, and there are compelling reasons to have as many wardens on hand as possible to deal with the Archdemon.
The joining itself is often fatal, is it not? If he survives, you gain a general. If not, you have your revenge. Doesn't that satisfy you?
Absolutely not! Riordan, this man abandoned our brothers and then blamed us for the deed. He hunted us down like animals. He tortured you! How can we simply forget that?
Alistair is right. Loghain must die for his crimes.
You can't do this. My father may have been wrong, but he is still a hero to the people.
Anora. Hush. It's over.
Stop treating me like a child. This is serious.
Daughters never grow up, Anora. They remain 6 years old with pigtails and skinned knees, forever.
Father.
Just make it quick, Warden. I can face the Maker knowing that Ferelden is in your hands.
Very well.
So it is decided. Alistair will take his father's throne.
Wait, what? No! When did this get decided? Nobody's decided that. Have they?
So much for our plan to rule together. If Alistair would rather not have the throne, I am more than willing to take it.
I hardly think you're the appropriate person to mediate this, Anora. Warden, will you help us?
Yes, I can settle this.
As the arbiter of this dispute, what is your decision? Who will lead Ferelden?
I have an agreement with both Alistair and Anora. They will marry and rule jointly.
We do! I believe this is what King Merrick wanted. To see his blood tied to my father's to begin a new line of Ferelden kings.
But I did swear an oath. What I mean is, I'm all for founding a new line of kings. But, well, there's the Blight.
What the king is trying to say, my lords and ladies, is that he will be taking the field with his fellow Grey Warden to do battle with the Archdemon.
Yes. That.
Until then, I shall stay in Denerim and rule in my husband's absence, as I did for Kalen. But I trust Alistair shall reach a more heroic ending.
My fellow Grey Warden will, I hope, take Loghain's place as the leader of my armies. Shall we finish this thing together?
I could do no less, my king.
Everyone, get ready to march! It's going to take all of Ferelden's strength to survive this blight. But we will face it, and we'll defeat it!
Ferelden is depending on you all.
You made me king. After all this is over with, they're actually going to put me on the throne. I'm going to be the king.
Congratulations on your engagement, by the way.
Oh, thanks. That should be interesting, shouldn't it? I suppose there are worse things that could happen to me other than becoming king and being hitched up to a beautiful woman. Anora probably thinks she'll just be able to push me off to the side. But I'm not that person anymore. She won't be able to walk all over me. This was always a possibility. I always feared it, but maybe there's nothing to fear. I might actually make a good king. You never know. I tell you what, though. I'll make a far better king if I have the right people by my side to help me once I'm on the throne. People like you.
You want me to help you be king?
Don't get me wrong, I'm sure I could do well enough if I tried, but I wouldn't be in this position if it weren't for you. So in a way, you owe me. What do you say?
Oh, I think I could be convinced.
That's good enough for me. Arleman has left for Redcliffe. He says the army has gathered there and is almost ready to march. As soon as we're ready, we should head to Redcliffe ourselves. The Blight awaits, right?
Alright, so the Landsmeet is concluded. Alistair and Anora shall rule together, and Loghain has been executed as a traitor to Ferelden. Despite appeals by both his own daughter and Riordan, the Grey Warden. I remember the very first time I played this, I chose to spare Loghain's life, and what I didn't know at the time was that no matter how things turn out, if you choose to spare Loghain, then Alistair will leave. You can harden him and get him to come back as king, but there's no way you can have him there during the final battle. You either have Loghain or you have Alistair. There's a good reason why the devs did that, because it makes one of the last major decisions of the game a bit more tricky depending on how things turn out. If there were too many Grey Warden possibilities at the end of the game, then the last major decision that's coming up soon wouldn't have nearly as much impact as it might otherwise. But still, I remember being quite pissed at Alistair for not being able to get over the fact that Loghain might actually be of use as a Grey Warden. But at the time of this recording, the votes were slightly, they were almost split exactly down the middle. There was just a little bit more in favor of executing Loghain as opposed to showing him mercy. And actually, because my moving schedule got pushed up, I'm going to be moving to a new place soon. I actually am recording this about approximately a day before the actual deadline that I gave before. So if your vote came in on that last day, I deeply apologize. I do appreciate your vote. And I would have counted it if I could have recorded this later, but the alternative would be for me to have to move house and set up my internet again and get everything rolling before being able to post the ending of the game. And I figured it was a lot easier for my own peace of mind if I could just record this stuff now so that I can post it up before I have to move to a new place. And just, I'm so close to the ending, I was just like, oh, let's get this done so that I can put this LP away and call it a game. So again, I apologize if you voted near the in the final few hours of the deadline. And again, I do appreciate your vote. It was actually interesting. The vote turned out so that it was practically unanimous that Alistair and Anora should rule jointly. I was pretty much convinced that at least someone would vote for just Alistair to rule, simply for no other reason because he's a nice guy and we know him a lot more than Anora. But I think a lot of the audience, you guys, were very practical and decided that both of them ruling would actually be more stable. But the spare or kill Loghain was almost pretty much right down the middle as far as which way to go. And which kind of reflects his character, I think. He's a very gray character, and depending on which parts of his life and actions you focus on, he can be either sympathetic or very much a villain. which of course makes for an interesting character.